Hey everyone, welcome back for another pick a card reading. Today's pick a card reading is going to be, what do you trigger in them? What I mean by that is basically like, what do you bring out of them? What emotion or reaction, for example, do you bring out of them? So this could be about anyone, or maybe even like a group of people if you're curious about like a collective of a group of people. Remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, release what doesn't. And as always, if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can. You can do that on my website, and all that information, as well as the timestamps to go right to your reading after you do your choose a card, will all be down below in the description box. Okay, go ahead and take 3 deep breaths. Let your intuition do the picking. Over here is card 1. Here is card 2. And then over here is card 3. And you can pause this if you need to make your selection. Okay, those of you who chose card 1, let's go ahead and see what you trigger in them. We have the 9 of Swords. Okay, so depending upon how you view your perspective, or if you're a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of person, you trigger this feeling of anxiety or fight or flight response. So like for some of you, I'm picking up that something about your energy, you bring out people's, I hate to use the term toxic traits, but you bring out their dysfunction in a way, let's say that. And this could be not because, I don't want you to think, oh, you bring out their dysfunction because you're a horrible person. No, I actually feel like you bring out their dysfunction because you cause them to see their own dysfunction. So maybe you have been making growth within yourself, and now they're in this place of comparing themselves to what your life looks like, or the changes that you have made, and they're seeing that they have not evolved the way they need to. Some of them may become defensive or like distance themselves. Maybe you notice that they block you all of a sudden, or unfollow all of a sudden, or they just act different around you, disconnected. Others of them may begin to like nitpick or act petty, or maybe cause some fights, but it's because something has brought out them now seeing their dysfunction in themselves or in their life, and it's making them uncomfortable. It's making them feel anxious and insecure. And so instead of them like being happy for you and the progress that you have been making, they have just kind of sunk into a place of battling themselves now, you could say. And that was triggered because of what they have seen going on within you, or maybe a conversation you had with them, or just the results of your life overall. For some of them, you broke an illusion of who they thought you were. And they're now beginning to feel like, okay, their perception of things was wrong, and you're actually a lot stronger, or you actually really are that happy person. And because they tried to think that maybe you had a facade for some of them, and no, they're really seeing that you're making that growth. Yeah. You trigger people to take a hard look at their own inner demons. Now, that does not necessarily mean literal demons. When I say their own inner demons, meaning the shadow side of themselves, the things that haunt them that they need to heal and work on. And it doesn't feel very good to them. Even though you may be a great person, they just don't like the reflection of the mirror that they are being shown through you, if that makes sense. And maybe in some cases, yes, they may need some spiritual help, and maybe you are a person who helps out with that. But what I'm also seeing is that the way that you communicate, that's what I'm picking up when I'm looking up here. The way that you communicate is sometimes it's like a bubble burst for them. It bursts their bubble. And it brings out this almost like childlike part of them that they now feel like it just feels like there's this childlike part of them that wants to be nurtured, and sometimes you give that tough love, or you don't enable some of their naughty behavior because it's like this child comparison. So that comes up. And then also, I'm also getting that you also trigger in these people or this person that you're asking about the desire for healing, even though they may they may even feel like you have this divine energy about you that makes them want to heal, even though they may not know where to start. When I look at this, I'm getting this feeling of like you wanting to help people to heal, but many of them are in such a place of depletion that they can't always see that you're here to help, and they may even take out some of their their pain on you, either by acting weird or actually lashing out. But what I'm also seeing what you trigger in them is that, so I see around or in the autumn. There may be some more realizations coming to you about this around or in the autumn season, whenever that is for you. But I'm also seeing autumn as symbolic of change. When the autumn season comes about, you feel the winds of change. Even the nature itself, the colors of the leaves changes. You get that chill in the air, which is funny because we have the on chill part. So you bring them to this place of feeling like they really need to cut a lot of things out of their life, and they now feel like they need to just pause and look at themselves and chill out in a way, because you are really triggering a spiritual awakening in them. Let's see what else. Okay. So they may not see it right away or understand it right away, but how you have also impacted them through what you have triggered in them is to get to a place of acceptance of either their situation or circumstances, in the way of like them realizing that they do need to, that they're in control of their own life, you know what I mean? And that if they want change, they have to create it, and accepting that. But you also trigger this energy of perseverance, of what they need to close out, what needs to die off. Maybe even there's an energy of grief that gets triggered there for some reason as well. And happiness, like they actually see you happy, I feel. And they would like to experience that for themselves. But in order to do so, they have to deal with themselves and make those changes and actually apply and do the work. And so I guess tied into all of that is a little bit of envy, because you shine bright. But that's what I see for you, card 1. Comment below how this is resonating with you or your situation. I love reading those. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to. And if you choose to, you could always tip by buying me a coffee. The information on where you can go to do that is down below in the description. And I will talk to you another time. Bye, card 1. Hi, those of you who chose card 2, let's go ahead and see what you trigger in them for the person or people you're wondering about. We have the Ace of Pentacles. You bring about evolution. What I mean by that is like they see your growth over time. And you also, you make them want to do better, be better. You are that kind of person that you hold people accountable, and you trigger in them this desire to learn how to value themselves more, or to make better choices, to do better for themselves. That's what I'm picking up with that. But let's see what else is coming through. To make wiser choices. For some of you in particular, around like money or leaving like security and substance. But what you also, you trigger in them this desire to make their life even better, to chase their goals and dreams. I'm also seeing here the 5 of Wands. So you help them, you trigger in them this energy of realizing that things may not always be easy, but you help them to understand that they can change. I think this is a chameleon. I'm not for sure, but the energy I'm getting is chameleon. So as they see you change and evolve, they begin to realize that no one has to, and no one really is the same person as time goes on. We all change, we all grow, we all evolve, or we're supposed to, at least. We're not supposed to be the same. And ideally, we're becoming better. And I feel that you trigger in them this desire to grow and be better. And the energy of this chameleon is like it adapts to its environment. And so I feel like, you know, the chameleon can change its colors. So you help them to learn how to adapt to the changes in life, and you trigger that as well. And then to also understand that we wear different hats for different roles, different scenarios, and even in different environments. Like, you're not going to act the same at home or with your friends as you are in the workplace, for example. So you may, for some of you, what I'm seeing is somebody like being very vocal and loud-mouthed, and there's this energy behind it of like, well, this is just who I am, take it or leave it. But that may be who you are, but you also have to understand how to read the room. You can't be that way in all places, in all environments. And you may be, that's an example to express what this energy I'm feeling. So you help to trigger in them the desire to understand that there's a place and a time for everything. I'm also seeing here the 2 of Wands. And what it feels like to me is that there's this need to, you trigger this energy of expression, like needing to really be able to vocalize your emotions. Some of you may have, may have struggled with actually communicating what's going on with them, and you trigger in them this desire or this ability to actually express themselves, and understanding that there's different paths that you can take. And we also may live many lives, even within one life, as we change and evolve. Like I was saying, we're not the same person. As time goes on, we almost become different people, and that's okay. As long as we're growing and maturing and becoming better versions of ourselves and learning from our lessons of the past. So you trigger in them this desire to move full speed ahead, and you bring out strength in them that they didn't even realize they had. But let's see what else. Okay. Spirit is saying that you help them to understand when it's time to let something go and when it's time to let it be, and that you also know when to take your own space from this person or these people. There is sadness that they're still working through, but you also help them to see that it's okay to ask for help. And sometimes you're not always equipped to be that help for them. Sometimes they do need to get further help beyond that. But what you do trigger in them is the desire to be all in and to give it their all, to continue to grow and evolve and do better. Let's see what else. Card 2. Some of them do struggle with a lot of doubt. Spirit is saying that you trigger in them the desire to be healthier or to make healthier choices or to have overall work on their sense of wellness. You also trigger in them or bring out in them the lesson of patience. There is still fear tied to it, but there's also forgiveness work that is at play that is coming about because of your energy. So that is what I see for you, card 2. Comment below how it's resonating with you or what's going on with you. I love to read those things. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you choose to. And of course, you can, if you want to, you could always tip by buying me a coffee. The information on where you can go to do that is down below in the description. And I will talk to you another time. Bye, card 2. Hi, those of you who chose card 3, let's go ahead and see what you trigger in them for the person or people that you're wondering about. And we have the message of the stars. So I do feel like there's this energy of hope that you trigger in them, a desire or optimism. A lot of you, they are learning by the example that you have left, or basically your life is giving them hope or optimism about something. So the good news about this card 3 is that they hold you like high up, like you are I guess you could say sort of a role model to them in a way. You're an inspiration to them in a way. But let's go ahead and see what else comes through. Card 3. But in some ways, they also want what you have. Maybe not specifically what you have, but the overall energy of what they feel you have, I guess you could say. But what Spirit is saying is you also trigger in them clarity and truth and a sense of light or things being illuminated. So it may not always seem like it, but when you speak up or speak out, they do absorb what you're saying. It just might take more time for it to sink in for them. They might need some more time to process it, or to a lot of the people I feel is that you help them to see things about their life. Like, for example, the things that they may focus on that are just pointless or not helping with the bigger picture of things. You may help them to see what they need to detach from or things like that. You shed new light, new perspective on things. But like I said, it doesn't always sink in right away. It usually sinks in later when they begin to see and reflect on things. You trigger a shift in their focus, and you also help them to understand that they are responsible for their life and the path that they are heading on. And if they want change, they have to learn how to navigate in a new and different way, because change is inevitable and it's going to happen. They can't keep standing in one place and doing what they have been doing. And that's something that you hope to trigger in them. But let's see what else comes through. You also help them to see that they have options or the ability to change, because none of us are who we were for example, like we all change. None of us are the exact same as who we were years back. Not completely, at least. You also trigger in them the ability or need to focus inward, not so much on others. You help them to learn how to be more vocal for themselves, or to actually express what they need to express, to speak on it. Spirit is also saying there may be more clarity coming around or in the winter season. Maybe they all of a sudden realize and have had time to think about what you had been saying before. Maybe that finally hits them at some point during the winter season, whenever the next upcoming winter season is, that they have had time to pause and reflect and soak in everything. Also, winter in this symbolic sense of slowing down, being on pause, and kind of being more time of rest and recovery as well, needing to take place to really see things. Now, sometimes they may also feel like you come across as a little bit cold, but you're not cold. It's just that you realize that you can't continue to baby certain people, otherwise they don't learn the hard lessons. But they will see that you're coming from a place of love, even if it's not right away. And you also trigger in them the need to proceed with caution, to be more selective, to choose wisely how they're going about things moving forward. Again, to make change with the number 5 coming up. So let's get another message, card 3. What do you trigger in them? Truth be told. I do feel like you trigger in them the desire or need to make healthier choices for themselves, or to overall work on their overall wellness. You trigger in them the need to make better judgment and to have better judgment. You trigger in them the need and the ability to create more abundance in their life, or to see the abundance of life. Maybe to manage their money better, or to go after or create more opportunities for themselves, to stop settling, maybe to act on those abundance of ideas and inspiration they keep talking about. Well, now it's time to do it. You trigger that. A lot of them also are seeing the abundance and blessings in your life, and they want that energy of what you have. Maybe not exactly what you have, but the energy of what you have. And, you trigger in them that desire to evolve. And friendship. They want to keep your friendship energy around, regardless of who you're asking about, whether it's romantic, family, friends, or otherwise work connections. You trigger in them this energy of support and friendship that they do appreciate, even if they don't always understand it right away. But you also make them look at themselves to reflect on, are they also being a good friend back? So that's what I see, card 3. Hopefully this was helpful. Comment below how it's resonating with you, or what's going on with you. I always enjoy reading those. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you choose to, of course. And also, if you want to, you could always tip by buying me a coffee. The information on where you can go to do that is down below in the description, and I will talk to you another time. Bye, card 3.